Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Medieval Engineers. It's Tuesday, so that means update day. Today we have update 2.006, which has introduced a couple new blocks, some interesting things to the game. Already updated the architecture museum here that I've been doing for all the patches. Today we have, you see 7, we have stone battlement round small, which fits this stone block round piece, which we didn't have a battlement that would fit on a piece like this, so it helps us with our wall building and everything a bit more. And we also have battlements for the ramp that we had, which we can do on both sides. Just like with railings for the stone doors, that has a mirrored side, so you can do both sides of it. And in addition to that, they also added two new ramps. This is a 2 block long one, which goes up to the same level as this first ramp that we've always had for a while now. So hopefully my idea of a wagon trolley system might actually work now that the ramp's not as steep as it once was. So we'll have to revisit that and see if I can actually get that working again. And also have battlements for that one too, for, protection. Don't want the arrows hitting your wagon trains and whatnot. There's 2 variations of this new ramp piece that they've given us. The second one is this really tall one, which currently you can't actually do anything with it except rotate it around, so it's mostly for decorations and whatnot. But hopefully we'll see that change in a future update. No battlements for that one because I don't think it's physically possible to walk up a ramp this steep. So, I mean, you can in this game, but in the real world, that'd be physically impossible. And last is a new variant of the rope ending, which I forget what they called this in the update video and the information for it, but I think they called it the rope hook. So basically now you can make proper trebuchets, which I will be demonstrating over here. Just have a simple catapult setup to show you how it works. Just easier than setting up whole counterweight system for a proper trebuchet. But in addition to the rope hook, we also have new tools, basic rope and terrible rope, because in addition to these new blocks, they also put in the first form of survival mode, which right now I'm not going to get into survival mode since the only thing it does is basically makes it so you can die from falling or being crushed by towers and being hit by barbarians. And you can't use the fly mode when you're playing as your person like this. So basically, it's not really survival mode. There's no resource collecting or anything. Basically, you could just die and you can't fly around. So it's basically creative mode without the things that make it easy. So I'm not going to really get into that at all yet. Still going to be doing builds and everything in creative mode and wait until I actually get resource collection and production and slow building and everything into survival mode. I want it to be a proper survival experience to get into it. So as usual, you can just press T on the rope drum while in creative mode and T on the rope end and it'll connect the two. But in survival mode, if you want to connect things, you have to use basic rope, which if you come to character tools is right here. You can put that into your toolbar and you can have it highlighted, have it selected, and you left click on each part you want the rope attached to, and functions just like a normal rope. Walk through it, pull it back, let it go forward, everything just like a normal rope. So instead of pressing T, you can just left click, or primary click if you have a different kind. They also included a new terrible rope. It sounds terrible because it actually is tear-able. Basically, if you run through it, snap, comes apart. So they added that in mainly as a feature to help you build more traps for killing barbarians. There's a few other things you can do with it, like if you have a line of catapults, you can have it all with have the terrible ropes. It sounds like I'm saying it's terrible, but having a weird time with that word. But basically, if you have that rope on all the catapults, you can just do like run through all of them and activate them instead of having to go to each one, press T, press T, press T, press T. You just run straight through the ropes. But back to the main reason we came over here, which is the new rope ending, the rope hook, which we have. So we're going to wind this back. Good. And we're going to put a large projectile down here in dynamic mode. And get it to fit. There we go. And this tiny little hook right here, I believe that's a 90-degree angle hook type thing. Anyway, that's the attach point for whatever you want to hook onto it, like this projectile. And now if you highlight over that selection thing and you press the K key on your keyboard, it brings up the rope release settings. And basically how this works is you have this cone right here. Let me get into a better angle for you. You have this cone right here, which you can adjust its location. And if you right click on the slider, it will reset it to default. And basically how this works is once you set it up so that once this rope makes contact with this cone, which once we come away, it's invisible. Once the rope connects with the cone, the rope detaches, just disappears. So it will essentially release whatever's attached to it. So if we come here and bring the pitch down, or up, I guess, positive. Bring this down a bit, increase the threshold. Press OK. Now, once we release this and the arm flings forward, once the rope attached to the projectile hits that cone, it'll release the projectile. There it goes. And we're way, way short, so let's try that again. Click, click. Wind it back. Attach those two again. Let's see, we need to... It went up too high, so we need to bring it back this way a little bit. See how that works. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. My physics aren't exactly the greatest in the world, so I'm probably doing this horrible. People are probably yelling at me. Physics professors around the globe are about to write threatening emails. Try this one more time. Try it right there. See how that works. Alright, that worked a bit better. Still not quite a lot of distance at all, but again, it's just a basic catapult. They really don't get a lot of distance. Not meant for a trebuchet action like that. Anyway, I believe that's everything in this update. No, not quite everything. Sorry. There's one other thing to go over. We come back here. Uh-oh, where'd my hallway go? There we go. If you remember this update over here, the early access update, we had these fire buckets, fireplaces, and torches. Well, if you're in any kind of mode and you just press K, it brings up gameplay options. You can toggle structural integrity mode from here instead of pressing N, which was the shortcut key. You can also activate night mode. So these light sources actually produce light now. It's very hard to see in daylight, in daytime, but if you activate night mode, you can see the how it how the lighting works. I'm not sure if it's going to be, pretty sure this isn't going to be the final since we're still very much in early access. So it'll probably get tweaked and adjusted. Like the fire bucket will probably produce more light. The torch will produce not quite as much light, that type of stuff. But yeah, you have nighttime now. Everything is really, really dark. Come outside, get the moon and stars. Again, everything is basically pitch black. You can barely see anything unless you have torches set up. There's currently a bit of a lighting glitch between with the light coming through walls. As you can see, the light on the other side of the wall is coming through and highlighting the blocks I have set up here and coming. There's not supposed to be a crack right there, I think, between the wall and floor, but it's acting like there is one and the light's coming through there. So a few little glitches that just, this update was just released, so they have to do a couple basic updates like that to fix some bugs. There's night mode, and there's also remove fractures. If we go back to this guy, highlight this, come over here. Fractures are what happens when the buildings fall apart. So if we attack this wall, fractures are all those little blocks that are falling down onto the ground right now. This is actually very nice for when you're deconstructing buildings. I accidentally hit G instead of K there. But I've been trying to deconstruct those large towers, guard towers at the front of the castle that I'm building, and I keep trying to disassemble them, but pieces keep falling off unintentionally and crumbling and causing damage, and it's leaving these fractures in the way, which won't let me build over them until they disappear from the game, which actually takes quite a long time. So now we have the option to remove all fractures, or we have this little slider, we can remove fractures within a radius around our character. As you can see, it removed everything in a 10.4 meter radius, or if we just click all, just gets rid of all the fractures in the map, and then you're free to go through, assess the damage, delete stuff delete the blocks that are still there but in a damaged state, and then rebuild them. So it's a lot easier for rebuilding stuff and for basically keeping the terrain clean of all those fractures, because they cause a lot of stability problems with the game. They can cause low FPS and cause the game to stutter, and just, it's a mess when you get too many of those. So that helps to keep everything clean, to keep the game running smoothly. When you say you're testing a bunch of catapults and you have a bunch of walls that you're destroying with them, you can help keep the area clean. That way ropes and the torsion springs and everything doesn't start messing up because it's too busy trying to calculate the fractures. Anyway, guys, that's everything for this update except for survival, which I'm not going into. Again, I explained, it's just basically you can't fly and you can die. That's all survival mode is right now. So that's everything. As you can see, I have gotten some progress done on the castle build that I've been working on. This update just came out today, so I can finally use the remove fractures option to finally disassemble those guard towers up there and rebuild them. But this is going to be the perimeter for the castle wall, so I have to build the watchtowers at these corners, but it's coming along nice. Anyway, this was an update video, not a build video, so I'll sign off now. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Have a good day.